Alright, so in this video we're going to do one other kind of variation of LED control via Lewis scripting and Ardupilot, and I just want to show this one to you. Some of you were interested in doing position lights, like a red and green front and back kind of thing for your aircraft. So this is the way I think you should do it. There may be other ways, of course, but this is the way I was able to test out. So right now we just have the script from our last video in there, still the roll color change thing. But let's go over to our web browser here. And in the examples, we have the Lua, it's just recording, okay. The examples, we have LED POS light Lua, okay, and this script is meant to control position lights. Okay. So for the script, we'll use two strips with up to 8 LEDs each. Okay, we'll have to edit that a little bit. And then depending on how many strips of LEDs total you use, you may have to make some other edits, which I'll show you later in the video. But for right now, we'll just have basically a left and a right LED strip, or front and back. You could say if you just have two strips total, then you could use something like this. Okay, so you'll download it and then open it. I'm going to open it up in here. Let's see here. Just downloaded it a minute ago. There we go. Okay, so here's the script itself. Basically, it's pretty much ready to go besides changing the number of LEDs to whatever number of LEDs you have per strip. In my case, I have 20 per strip, so I'm going to change this to 20. Okay. Otherwise, everything should be pretty much ready to go in the script. We'll change some parameters, but script-wise, it should be good. So I'll go ahead and save this. Okay. And then we'll go over to Mission Planner, and we're going to go to MavFTP, expand, expand, scripts. We're going to erase the other ones from last time, so right-click, delete. Okay. And then we go ahead and we will grab the new script we just edited, basically. Upload that. So this POS light Lua, it's going to go right in there. Okay, now let's open the script up itself and read the instructions a little bit here, the notes in here. So I'll use LED strips. We change that to 20. Okay. These ones will leave the same. Brightnesses are fine. And then it says use servo end function 94 for left strip and 95 for right strip. So we need to go into our servo functions and set these appropriately. So again, you remember in my setup here, I have one wired to 7 and one wired to 10, or servo 7, servo 10 outputs. So we'll go ahead and go into Mission Planner and adjust those. Full parameter list, servo 7. Okay, and we need to set these. Let's look at the script again. Was it 94 or 95? Okay. So servo 7 we want to set to 94. Already set to 94. We'll just do servo 10 to 95. Okay, good. That's already set from last time. So we'll write those params. And let's go back over here to the script. Everything else should be good. So what we will do now is we'll go back into Mission Planner, make sure everything's written and saved. You can even refresh if you want to double check. It should save. And we'll go ahead and disconnect from Mission Planner and physically with the USB cable. We're going to power cycle our demo board. So let's go ahead and go with that real quick. Okay.
Telemetry lost.
And then we'll power back up. Should get a power. There we go. And we have red and green. Okay, so left and right on an airplane, position lights are on the wingtips, right? On your drone, you might say, well, I need, can't just have like front and back. You might have 4 strips. We'll talk about that in a second. But basically, they've turned on as we asked them to. And in this case, the position lights stay red and green. And the behavior of the script is once I arm the aircraft, the lights will kind of strobe in between showing red and green, if that makes sense. So let's connect to Mission Planner, make sure we're ready to arm so we don't just sit here flicking the arm switch back and forth and wondering why it's going wrong. Let's connect here. We probably won't have any GPS, but we should be ready to arm otherwise, I think. Okay, good. Ready to arm there. Awesome. Let's go back and turn the display capture off. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and arm the aircraft with the transmitter switch here. Okay. And we see the LEDs start to flash. And I think they're supposed to be kind of synchronized. There we go. It took a second to kind of get synchronized of it. Basically, they flash when it's armed. The aircraft disarmed itself just now because it was not raised above idle throttle. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay. I'll raise the throttle a little bit. There you go. So they flash while it's flying, but you can still see red and green. If that's of interest to you, this script might be something useful. I'll lower the throttle and disarm, and then go back to just a regular red and green color. All right. So if you have multiple strips of LEDs, more than two, more than a left and a right, perhaps, then you will say, well, I want to have red in the front, green in the back, but I have two strips in the front, two strips in the back. So again, my lack of actual coding or programming knowledge here is probably not doing me any favors, but the way I found around this was to edit these servo functions, okay, 94, 95, and save basically two instances of the same script, but with 94, 95 in one and 96, 97 in the other. So I'll show you what that looks like here, okay. You can see over here I have my 94, 95, 96, 97 script saved, okay. 94, 95, everything exactly the same as it was earlier. We have 94, 95. This is identical to the script we just used. Okay. And if we go to the other one, 96, 97, everything's the same except I changed it to 96 and 97. Okay. All that does is basically allow you to do more strips with the same outputs. So, have two strips in the front, two strips in the back, both strips in the front are red, both strips in the back are green, or vice versa. Okay. And when you set this up in Mission Planner, okay, let's actually use a different window this time. It'll be a little bit easier to see. We'll go to the Setup tab. I'll go to Servo Outputs, and you can see right now I have script 1 and script 2 for the red and the green. This would be the equivalent of 94 and 95. Those are my two outputs. But let's say I had two other LED strips on Servo Out 8 and Servo Out 9, or S8 and S9. Okay. If I go ahead and I want to do that, then that's fine. I just need to put the other script onto the autopilot, okay? And then I would have something like script 1, let's see here, where are we at? Script 1 and script 2 here, and then I have script 3. Where are we at? 3, oops, script 3 and script 4. Script 4, there we go. And so essentially what I'm doing here is script 1 is the same as 94 in the servo output, 95, 96, 97. Let's go check that out real quick. So if we go servo 7, 94, servo 8, 95, servo 9, 96, servo 10, 97. That's the servo function that I'm talking about there, so script 4. Okay, so what that's saying, excuse me, I need to cough again. All right, back. So what that's saying is you want to have the scripts basically run those four different functions. So go back to our script viewer here, 96, 97. The other one is 94, 95. So when we load these in, let's go ahead and load this 96, 97 script into the autopilot. So we'll go to mavftp, go to APM. I'm going to erase this kind of blank one, standard one, I guess. I'm going to right click and hit delete. There we go. I'm going to upload the other two. Let's go, nope, not there. Okay, 94, 95, 96, 97. We'll upload those two. And once those are in there, and I have my output set, okay, we can then disconnect, unplug from USB, and power the board down. Go ahead and reboot it here. We'll see what we get. Now what I'm trying to simulate here is if I had, two other LED strips, if I had 4 total. Okay. So right now they're still red and green like they were before. So what we need to do, if you're, playing with your 4 different strips, trying to get the right color combos, let's go ahead and go over to Mission Planner, connect here. If you're getting any message errors, your script may be have a problem with the actual script itself, but the script should be okay. I tested them already. So I'm going to set up here to our servo output, or you could do it through the parameter list, either way. And you want to kind of remix these numbers, if that makes sense. So in my case, I only have 2 strips, so it's a little bit hard to show you, but let's say I swap these two. So this is script 2, and this one's script 1. Okay. And then we'll go back disconnect and unplug and power down
Telemetry lost.
and power back up.
Telemetry recovered.
And now they're both green. Glad that worked. Okay, so what's happening is basically I have one script saying, hey, 94, 95, and maybe that's 94 and the invisible LEDs here, 95 that I don't have connected. Okay, the other one's saying 96, invisible LEDs, and 97. So if you had four strips, that would make more sense, right? But in this case, I just flip-flopped the outputs, so I'm outputting green on both sides, right? And then you'd have two reds in the middle. So depending on how you wire your LEDs, you can reconfigure those servo outputs on the servo page or the servo N, parameters, and get the right ones in the right spots, if that makes sense. So you have to look at your wiring and say, well, which one's on servo 7, which one's on 8, which one's on 9, which one's on 10. You might have to switch those back and forth a little bit to get the colors to be in the right spots for where you actually want them to be on your physical aircraft. All right, so one more time, that's in Mission Planner. You can either go to the config and you can use the raw, oh, it's not connected. You can use the raw parameters. You can do it that way. I find that easy to find things just off the bat and look for them that way. Okay, but you can change them in here. Okay, script 2 or script 1 or script 3 or script 4 or whatever. But once I'm trying to mix them around and figure out which ones are in which color position, then I like to use the servo output page here because I can see all of them at the same time. And just, oh, whoops, I got to switch 1 and 2, or oh, and I need to switch 3 and 4, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that makes sense. And that is the extent of the LED, I guess, setup or testing we're going to do in class. So if there's more stuff you want to do, there are lots of other LED scripts out there, lots of other scripts out there, period, and lots of other things you could probably do with these. But hope these videos help, and we'll see you in class.